Welcome to the Traveling Professors. I'm Professor Bob.
And I'm Professor Sherry.
And together we are
the Traveling Professors.
Welcome to show number 84. Sherry and I today are going to take you back to Mykonos. We're going to spend a little more time in the city of Hora and give you an idea what it was like to take a trip by ferry from Santorini to Mykonos and then to arrive, get our hotel, and wander around. So let's get started. And we have a different map today. This one shows all the different areas around Greece. So you see the Dodecanese, you see Crete, you see the Eastern Aegean, the Sporades, the Saronic area, and we're going to be in the Cyclades, right dead center in the middle, with the islands appearing the circle around the island of Delos, which is right next to Mykonos. So we're leaving by ferry from Santorini, which is right here. And on the way, we will be going by and stopping at Ilos, and then Paros, and then we will head into Mykonos. It was cloudy and raining when we left, but it did clear up. Well, when it was time to leave Santorini, we went down the street, got on the bus for the harbor, and headed down to the port. And so here we are in the port waiting for our ferry. See one of the cruise ships way in the distance. And then after you go through a little bit of security and check your tickets, then you can gather outside waiting for your ferry to come in. And when the ferry comes in, then the people get off, and then you can board. And we do not have reserved seats. You can sit anywhere. So here's Sherry getting something to drink as usual, nice coffee. And then we sit back and relax. Now we do have 2 stops, and I believe the first island we went to was Ilos. And so here we are coming in around the edge of the island into the port. You can see it's a little hazy here. There's the harbor as we come in. And then we pull right up into the main center of the city and then, of course, unload. And they have hotels all along here. And you can see some ruins up on the hills as well. And then we head back out the same way we came in. An hour later or so, we end up coming by our next island, which is believed to be, I think it's Paros. The ferry lines have different routes, and one of them, instead of going to Paros, went to Naxos, which is kind of a hub for ferries. But we're kind of on a local ferry, fast ferry, but a local ferry, and it went to Paros and then to Mykonos. So here we are coming into the harbor, and you can see the town on one side. Of course, you can always pick the churches out with their domes. Coming into where we unload, just back right up, drop the tail, and off the equipment and people go, and the new people get on. So here we have our next set of customers getting ready to come in, and you can see there's hotels and restaurants all along the harbors. And it would be fun to go back and just say, okay, well, we're just going to island hop, spend a day or 2 on this one, then get the next ferry and stay at the next one, enjoy it like that. And here's a nice view of the ship leaving the harbor. And then we take a view of Mykonos. So we're heading into Mykonos now. Now we were hoping that we would arrive in the old harbor, but this ferry is too big for that. So we end up coming in to the main harbor where you'll have the cruise ships and other ferries. And you can see here, there's one of the other ferries across the way. But they have a transfer shuttle boat that you can get on, which you see here. And it will be almost the same one that we took the Delos the next day. So you get on there, you bring your baggage on, and then it takes you to the inner harbor. Now, we had been here on our cruise, and we knew where the bus station was, and we knew where part of the port was. And when I made the reservations, I picked a hotel near the bus station, near the harbor. Well, the shuttle ferry didn't come into that section of the harbor. It came into the other side of the harbor. So we had to drag our suitcases all the way around to where our apartment was going to be. So here's a view as we're getting ready to walk around the harbor. So you would go down and you can see the little church here, the little chapel. Lots of good restaurants. We ate several different places there. And then panning a little bit further over and see some more buildings. And then here is another one of the ships coming into the harbor. And now we're looking at the opposite side of the harbor. There's a couple of museums right along here. And several beaches, which you can see in this flattened area along this way. And we're now coming and get a little better shot of where the other part of the harbor is. And we are staying right here. It's called the Reva Suites, and our room was actually above the Avis rental agency, which is right in the same area. Beautiful location. So let's go and look at our room for our stay in Mykonos. Sherry and I visited Mykonos, so I believe that we were probably here at the end of May. So it's still shoulder season. Now, I looked online for different places, and let me tell you, Mykonos is not going to be cheap. To give you an idea, the place that we're going to be staying here in the Reva Suites, we paid $250 a night. That was reasonable for what we got. In 2021, when we were thinking about going to Greece again, we wanted to go back to Mykonos and see some more of the island of Delos, and their best rate was almost $500. Now that was would have been in October. Now it is not a room, it is actually a suite. So we went up the steps here. People who operated this were so wonderful. And we walk in, here's our living room area in the front. You pass through to the bedroom area, a nice queen-size bed with a shower back behind and bathroom. Then on the other side of where the bedroom is, this is a little kitchen area, kitchenette. And then you have the porch. Nice little place to lay and catch the sun. This does have a west view. It had its own. Here's the access to the patio, looking out there. The view, here's the view of the harbor. And then here's the view of the other port and the bus station down below. And then here's a shot with a little more of the bus station. Now, we weren't a real party group. Sherry and I were not going to be going to Super Paradise and put our thongs and bikinis on and go crazy. We were here to relax, walk around, see the sights, go to Delos. Once the sun goes down, however, it gets a little interesting, and I'll talk about that a little later. After 84 shows, you should know the drill by now. After settling into our apartment, it's time to take a nice walk of Hora and see some of the sites that we didn't get to spend a lot of time at when we were on the little cruise. So here is our map of the area. Now we're located right here, and you can see the one harbor, and then this is the area where the bus station is. And then this is the other jetty on the other side of the harbor. This is where we came in to begin with and then walked all the way around. So we're going to go all the way to the edge of the harbor here and then go up to the windmills. So here we are walking on the street by the beach looking back towards our apartment. And I will actually go into the water with my swimming suit. I'm not a swimmer. I will do some wading. Sherry did get me into the water for a nice picture. Then I knelt down so it looked like the water was up to my neck. So the kids would think, wow, Dad really got into the beach. Now, I don't go in much above my waist. So then here's turning the other direction. Now we're going to walk towards the right-hand side. There's a really good restaurant in this area where you see the palm tree. So we get a little closer down into the harbor area. Lots of things to see, lots of places to eat. As you can see, it's not very busy. It is probably 6 o'clock in the evening at this point. And then we get into the middle harbor, and we didn't see the Pelican at this time. Then here's the little church. As we're going to go by the church, you can see the jetty that goes out the other direction. Now we stopped at this particular area here, which is they have public restrooms, but they also have a station for the Delos transport. And we had reservations for that, so we double-checked our reservations. And then as we crossed away from the main harbor, so you get the actual action of the sea. You can see, looking back where we stayed, you see the boats along there, which are the boats that go to Delos. And then you see the waves coming in. Here is the layer cake church that we saw when we were on the last tour of Mykonos, the Paraportiani Church. Now it's built on the edge of the Castro district, and when you approach it, you only see this facade silhouetted with the stark white against the deep blue of the sea and the sky, and the name derives from its setting, having been constructed between the sea and the small gate, Paraporti, of the castle. In reality, it is not one church, but a compact complex of 5 chapels, erected over the centuries, 2 different levels. The date of the first church has been lost amidst tradition, and even today, unfortunately, scientific opinion can't concur on when it was actually built. The oldest chapel is considered to be what is known as the Agi Agari, and it's supposed to have been built in the 14th or early 15th century, and then 4 other chapels were subsequently added to it. Now, one of the reasons you end up with all this white on it is it gets damaged by the weather pretty much, and they don't usually do anything but put more whitewash over it. And then as you walk towards it from the front, from one side, you see one little bell, the entrance. And here you see a set of steps that go up another level. Then here's one side of it from another direction. And if you go in, we were fortunate to be able to go in, and they let us take some pictures. Here are some of the chapels. Here is one of the iconostasis right here in the middle. And then this picture shows another little chapel off to the left-hand side of it. And then here we have an older chapel with much older iconostasis here with paintings. So it's quite stunning. It's not open all the time, but we obviously go to services here, but it is indeed very, very small. Coming out of the church, we then head into the town to walk up some of the streets because it's the only way that we can get to the windmills, because the little Venice buildings, there isn't anything that walks in front of it. So we go by another little church and some other buildings, and we get to the other side of Little Venice, and so here's the view back. And the waves were really kind of crashing in the evening, and I would say that one of the best times to see this and the windmills is at sunset or close to sunset. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we get up to the windmills. There's one of the shots. You can see the cruise ship in the background, and then here you can see one of the restaurants right along the edge. Most of those buildings have the restaurants. And remember, these were ship captains used to have their homes, and in some cases at a secret location so you could get your ship up, unload your cargo, and then get out. And once we finished looking back, we turn around, then here are the windmills. Remember, when we were here on the cruise, this is as close as we got to them. We did not have time to go all the way up and visit them. So we're going to correct that. So here we are walking all the way up to where the windmills are located. And one of them was open, and Sherry went inside and took pictures. And they have somehow or another disappeared from the face of the earth. So I do not have internal pictures of these. So we get all the way up to the top, get a nice view of a complete one. And like I said, the view. Here's the view from the top, looking back towards, you can see Little Venice. And then you can see cruise ship way in the background there in the main harbor. And then here's looking down the row, getting another shot of the two of them as the sun's beginning to set. And then you turn around, instead of looking out towards the town of Hora, you look on the backside. And they have a parking lot where a lot of people park up here as they come from other parts of the island. And then you see beaches, you see hotels, and then here's a nice shot of one of the nice beaches, that opposite side. And then turning around, we get a nice shot of the windmills from the back with the beautiful blue sky. And then we walked all the way back to our suite at the Reva Suites. And as the sun set, here's our view over the harbor, looking at the sun going down. And then as the sun sets into the background. And then it's time to go out and get something to eat. Sherry and I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please come by our YouTube channel at Bob Packett. And please subscribe and leave some comments. Thank you very much. I've been doing podcasting on history for over 15 years. I've got over 4,000 shows, and I've done CDs, which of course can be sent out as USBs. So if you would really like to get more on history for free, then come by my website, as you see here, historyaccordingtobob.com, and see what's there. So thank you very much again.